13 of the 16 victims of the Soweto Tavern shooting have been remembered in a memorial service which was held in KwaZulu-Natal today. We know, of course, that tavern shooting in Nomzamo in Orlando, Soweto, claimed 16 lives. Gunmen storming into that tavern, not stealing anything, simply opening fire and then fleeing. Well, let's speak now to our reporter, Manqoba Mchunu, who's been at that event today. So, Manqoba, it's really interesting that 16 of the 19 victims are from one area in KwaZulu-Natal. Tell us about that.
Indeed, Sally. In fact, it is quite a shock for residents of Umzimkhulu. The fact that 13, in fact, of those that died in that incident are from the area. In fact, some of the residents telling us said that when they heard about what had happened in Nomzamo on the 9th of July, they didn't know that this was going to come back to them. They didn't know that these were community members from Umzimkhulu that were injured in that particular incident. And I can tell you, Sally, that they're quite devastated. Many families are still distraught. They're still trying to find answers exactly as to what happened. Why were they shot so brutally, and what was the cause? So the families were quite emotional today during that memorial service and candlelight service that took place at Umzimkhulu Hall at one of the TVET schools in the area. And of course, there were quite a number of community members, friends, there were residents, there were relatives that came to pay tribute to those who died. And of course, the big question, of course, is what happens to those that did this? Have they been found? The family is saying that they still haven't found closure because those responsible for this are not yet behind bars. I spoke to one family that lost 3 of their loved ones, Sally. They lost family members. 2 of them were brothers. 1 of them was a distant relative. But that just tells you the scale of the loss that community members in that area suffered. There are also other families that lost about 2 family members there in Umzimkhulu. But Sally, most of the families are saying that they are not going to actually find closure. They are calling on police and pleading with police to find those responsible for this in order for them to try and find closure. But I spoke to one of the family members. Take a listen to what she had to say.
Okusempeleni nje angikho right kakhulu. Since ngeyi-10 it was Sunday morning ngithola lezi ndaba zokuthi ukhazini wami akasekho emhlabeni. Azange ngiphinde ngibe right kuze kube namhlanje kona izinto eziningi azikakenziwa kakadluli isifiso nje nginaso esokuthi abenzi balokho abakwenzile batholakale bezokwazi ukuthi obhuti bethu bakwazi ukuthi ke baphumule ngoxolo. Ngiyabonga.
Siswami, wena ushonelwe ihlobo esisodwa kulesiphicongco, ngiyazi ukuthi angamngcwabi namanje.
Yebo, ngishonelwe isihlobo esisodwa mina, asikakamngcwabi, sifisa ukumbeka on Saturday.
Well, she's just explaining to us that they're still quite shocked as a family. They're still trying to find answers, of course, as to what really happened. She lost one of her family members in this particular incident.
Absolutely tragic.
Well, so as I just explained there, you can hear that family member saying that she's still quite distraught, Sally. In fact, she says that ever since the 9th of July, she has been devastated. She still can't believe what happens. Her cousin was one of the people that died in that particular incident. She says that they are really hoping on police and law enforcement to speed up investigations, to find those that are behind this, because up until now, they simply cannot find closure as families.
Yeah, I mean, they still don't exactly know why these people were killed. Premier Sihle Zikalala was also at the memorial service. He spoke about the need for better security, tougher restrictions at taverns. Did he sketch out exactly what is required?
Well, Sally didn't go into much detail about what exactly he meant, but during his speech, he did allude to the fact that they're going to be strict on these establishments, not only tavern, but also sporting facilities, just to ensure that people or patrons that go to these particular places are safe. He says that they're going to be looking at hours of closure. They're going to be strict on those hours to ensure that these establishments close on time, but also saying that they're going to be looking specifically at illegal taverns and targeting those in particular, because this is where some of these incidents seem to be occurring. And the Premier saying that, of course, the death of these 13 young people from Umzimkhulu should not be in vain, and that they really are looking to improve security and also to hold those, tavern owners accountable for security at their own establishments. He also did go into detail that as a Premier, he had met with some of the liquor traders in the province to deal with some of these issues in particular, and he hopes that this is an issue that they are going to take seriously to prevent further loss of life. But take a listen, Sally, to what Premier Sihle Zikalala had to say.
The recent period has exposed us to dangers that are found in areas where people entertain themselves, especially liquor outlets. We will agree that there are liquor outlets and taverns that are safe, where people try to do their best to protect those who come to entertain themselves. But I think this calls for more regulations and ensure that all people, when they come in, they are really secured and such things doesn't happen easily.
So it was Premier Sihle Zikalala. Thank you very much, eNCA reporter Manqoba Mchunu.